Today, I want to provide you with my three critical rules for how to appraise a biomarker. And of course, let's also look at the definition of a biomarker. Let's go. So this is basically my biomarker one-on-one with the three things you need to remember when appraising a biomarker. And if you don't want to remember anything else, these are the three critical rules. But let's just look at how to define a biomarker first. So the EMA, or the European Medicines Agency, has a fairly broad definition of a biomarker because it's basically just any molecules that can be used to follow bodily processes, either in humans or in animals. However, the EMA does restrict biomarkers to molecules. In contrast, the FDA labels a biomarker any either molecule or imaging or histology or physical characteristic that can be used to measure either normal or pathological bodily processes. So, with these two definitions in mind, what can we then learn about a biomarker? Well, first off, a biomarker must be clearly defined. So you need to have a definition. It's not something vague like I feel this radiology or X-ray imaging shows a pneumonia. Secondly, a biomarker must be measurable. So it's an objective measure. And this, I think, is the most important third part is that a biomarker is always a proxy for something else. There's a ground truth or gold standard that we hold up against the biomarker measurement. And with this in mind, we will also acknowledge that all biomarkers are prone to measurement error because they never exactly measure the ground truth, or not in all cases. So there's variation and there's uncertainty surrounding a biomarker. Then comes the three critical rules for how to appraise a biomarker. First, you want to know if it's true. You want to know if it's meaningful. And finally, you want to know if it's useful. The truthness of a biomarker can also be labeled as the analytical validity. Does the biomarker actually measure what you think or what you want it to be measuring? The clinical validity is whether the biomarker is meaningful. Does it actually discriminate between health and disease? And thirdly, the usefulness, and this is, I think, maybe the most important rule, is even if you have a biomarker that is true and is meaningful, if the use of the biomarker does not change clinical practice and does not lead to improvement in patients' prognosis or health or how the quality of life, then using the biomarker makes no sense, and the biomarker itself is no good. And this is the clinical utility. The analytical validity can also be labeled the imprecision or precision of a biomarker. And this is often seen as the repeatability or the reproducibility of a biomarker. But the measurement error or the variation of a biomarker consists of many aspects, as can be seen in this fairly busy arrow diagram. So repeatability is what we also call the intra-observer variance. If I have one pathologist and I ask this pathologist to look at a histology slide and score the biomarker, say the liver fibrosis score on a liver biopsy, then I ask the pathologist to do the same thing 10 times in a row. This is the repeatability. I could also have a lab equipment and I could measure the same blood sample 10 times in a row and again have the repeatability of a blood-based biomarker. The reproducibility is the inter-observer variation. For this, I need two or more pathologists and I ask them to score the same histological slide and then I compare the scoring of the different observers. It can also be lab equipment used to measure the same blood-based test, but located in different laboratories across the globe. Now, let's move on to the clinical validity. For clinical validity, accuracy is really core. So accuracy is the biomarker's ability to measure the reference value or the gold standard or the ground truth. And the distance between the measurement of the biomarker or the average biomarker measurement and the reference value is a measure of the accuracy. But I also want for clinical validity a biomarker to be precise, because if I have a biomarker of huge analytical variation, then an individual measurement is uncertain. So we can boil this down to four different theoretical scenarios. Let's say a biomarker is a dart and I'm throwing a dart towards a bullseye. Then I want a biomarker that is both accurate and precise. So I want to hit bullseye as many times as possible, or be as close to bullseye whenever I throw my dart. This is an excellent biomarker of high accuracy and high precision. And this was it for today. Please look into these three excellent resources that I used to make this video. Thank you.